Jake Sisko is on Bajor studying the Vedic assembly for a story, and he's there by himself. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Sirach Lofton.
Hello, hello.
He's already thinking of, and Melissa Longo is here.
Hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and I said Bajor like Gul Dukat says it, not Bajor like Major Kira says it, and not Bajor like Captain Picard says it. We are joined by Mr. Ethan Calk, writer.
Hello, hello.
He has writing credits for Deep Space Nine episodes entitled Children of Time and Visionary, and he's joining us today to share one of his pitches. So many of these pitches got picked up in the past by writers such as Ethan. Many did not. And the ones that did not are now free reign for us to have fun with and decide if they should have picked it up, why it worked, why it didn't. And Ethan, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this one.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's a different time back then. People could actually pitch things.
Mm. Oh, yeah. I already dread filming this episode just when you start. As soon as your opening line made me dread filming, and I'm like, oh, the Vedics.
The Vedics.
Kais and all these Kais.
Just wait.
Your paw is strong.
Yeah, his paw's not feeling it today.
I'm dreading it. All right, let's see what happens.
This episode is called Untitled Jake's Story, and it was pitched to Renee Echevarria in March of 1997. So that's around season 4. I think second half of season 4 is what's happening then. So that means it might have been a season 5 episode. Okay, it begins. Jake Sisko is on Bajor studying the Vedic assembly for a story, and he's there by himself. It is the first time his dad has let him take a runabout by himself. As he gets ready to return to Deep Space Nine, part of a visiting alien delegation from the Gamma Quadrant requests passage to visit Deep Space Nine. Since Jake is already going there, he offers to transport them. See, Sirach, see, that's better. You're like, I don't mind leaving Bajor.
I'm liking it. This is like the first joyride as a kid. You know, like when you take the car out for a spin.
And people are like, hey, can I have a ride? And you're like, sure. Unnamed people, I don't care. Not my car.
Pitching up space hitchhikers.
Yeah.
So it goes on. As Jake and the delegation approach the station, a warning light appears on his panel. He moves to compensate for the malfunction, and when he does, the runabout goes completely out of control, plowing into the outer docking ring. Emergency force fields go up, but the damage is extensive. The delegation is killed, and Jake barely escapes with his life.
Uh-oh.
I know. Ethan's like, just wait, I told you.
Uh-oh. Yeah. This is a torture Jake story.
I didn't take the parallel parking to run about fast. And we're up late.
And Captain Sisko's like, how long was that red light on? I don't know. It was you didn't see the red light. The check engine light, dude. You got to know that right away.
Right.
Okay. With Bashir's expertise, Jake pulls through. Sisko orders O'Brien and Dax to investigate the crash and find the cause. The computer is severely damaged and only a small amount of data can be retrieved. From this data, they find a suggestion of the original malfunction, but little else. There is little flight data remaining. Sensor logs from the station also reveal little. And though weak, Jake attempts to help, but it all happens so fast that he can't remember much. There's a full-scale investigation, and Jake is just barely hanging in.
That's,
only there was something there. was available to probe your memory.
Yeah, a memory pyramid. Well, as the investigation ensues, the remaining alien delegation arrives at the station and demands to know what has happened. They ask hard questions. Why was a boy allowed to transport their colleagues rather than a pilot? They're holding Jake, Cisco, and Deep Space Nine responsible for the deaths of the others. Cisco does his best to calm this increasingly hostile situation. But without more data about the crash, there's not much he can do. Cisco bristles at the aliens' accusations, but must keep his own feelings of worry and anger at the accusations about his son in check. So that's really interesting because Cisco's like, dude, these guys are just, acting crazy, but he's got to play the diplomat. He's the captain of Starfleet. He's a captain on Starfleet, and he needs to take this kind of thing seriously and treat them with respect.
Yeah. And I can
Jake, you created some problems, man.
Yeah. This is a lot of emotional trauma for Jake too, because that's a lot to bear the burden of. So yeah, I'm sure he wants to know what happened just as much as bad as they did, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So it continues. Meanwhile, Jake is going through terrible feelings of guilt. He is so unsure of what happened that he's not completely convinced that it wasn't his own error that caused the crash and killed the aliens. We see his anguish as he tries to cope with this guilt. He wanders around the station aimlessly, noticing no one and speaking to no one. Cisco finds him in a runabout, checking the systems, trying to find out what happened. Nothing anyone says or does seems to help. Some intense emotional scenes play out between father and son as Jake tries to come to grips with what he did. And we see the helplessness Cisco feels in seeing Jake's pain and not being able to comfort his hurting son. Ooh, this is great.
Yeah. So many good elements of Jake's natural character, of empathy and trying to help out, and it's so good. Yeah.
A lot of great scenes to be had there between father and son. You guys always had some really good, memorable scenes, and this could have created some.
I think so. Yeah, this would have led to some serious conversations that would have made for some great dialogue on camera.
Later, O'Brien asks Cisco to allow him to attempt a possibly dangerous experiment to recreate the malfunction in flight and see what really happened. Using the flight data and station's sensor logs, they try to recreate the events as accurately as possible. However, when they cause Jake's malfunction, nothing happens when they compensate for it as Jake did. It is beginning to look more and more like pilot error, which depresses Jake even more. He is terribly despondent, and Cisco fears that he will do something drastic. The aliens find out about this new discovery and are further incensed. As is their custom, they demand Jake's life in return for the lives he took. Cisco refuses, and the aliens threaten the destruction of the station if he does not comply. It is all Cisco can do to hold them off.
Whoa.
Things are getting hairy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry,
guys.
My bad. All right. When things look like they're going to get out of hand, Jake decides to accept the responsibility of his actions. He secretly contacts the aliens and offers to turn himself over to them. He makes his way to the runabout pad and takes off to dock with the alien ship. En route, 3 of the aliens beam aboard the runabout to make sure he doesn't try to escape. Within a matter of seconds, the runabout goes wildly out of control again. Jake is quicker this time and recovers, barely avoiding slamming into the alien ship. With Sisko's help, they convince the aliens that there is something more to this than pilot error. The aliens agree to more tests, which indicate the aliens have a significant biomagnetic field about them. Eventually, this biomagnetic field effect is shown to cause the false malfunction. Despite the close call, Jake, Sisko, and the crew are overjoyed. It was the aliens' biomagnetic field that caused the crash, not pilot error. This gets Jake off the hook with the aliens, and they leave the station satisfied. ... Not excited, but satisfied.
Yeah, and I was looking it up, the story when you were talking. I found the aliens' names. It was Hennessy, vodka, and Tanqueray. That was the aliens.
Jake was a little too young for that.
Very nice.
Wow.
That's the point.
Yeah.
It was aliens, Dad. I was sipping on this alien stuff.
They had this biomagnetic. I don't know. Bashir or O'Brien could explain it better, but that's what it was.
Albanian Hennessy.
Oh.
I saw this aura about me.
Yeah.
They got all fuzzy. So, Ethan, you shared your thoughts on this in your notes. You want to tell us about it?
Well, this is kind of the story that would never die, because I actually pitched it 5 different times before I gave up. 2 times to Voyager and 3 different versions to 3 different writers on Deep Space Nine. Wow. So it kind of came from the movie in the 1950s called Fate is the Hunter. And in that movie, an airline pilot is killed when they have a crash, and he's posthumously charged with pilot error. And the majority of that movie dealt with his friend's attempt to prove that's wrong and that it wasn't his fault. So the first version was for Deep Space Nine, and Bashir was the pilot, and they passed on that. So I tried it with Voyager. One time to Michael Piller, which I thought, wow, if he likes this, I'm in. He doesn't have to pass it to the writing staff because he's it, right? And he passed on it. And then I tried it again to Joe Manoski, since Michael Piller was kind of not really running the show anymore and just kind of creative consultant. So I pitched it again to Deep Space Nine after they passed on that, but I changed the pilot to Jake this time. And Ron Moore thought it was a decent idea, but it said it'd be much stronger if Jake were conscious, because I think my first pitch, he was just unconscious the whole time. He was just still recovering. And Ron Moore said, hey, it might be stronger if Jake was conscious the whole episode and had to deal with this guilt. So I reworked it again, 5th and final time in March '97. And when Renee rejected it, I finally let it rest. So anyway.
Let it rest in peace.
But I also think, we on another one of our little sessions, we talked about the story where they threatened to kill Nog if Jake didn't turn over the command codes. And Jake refused, and they actually killed Nog. And of course, nobody liked that story. But I'm wondering if that story came from this, because I guess I still had this, how does Jake deal with this guilt being so young thing going in my head? So
absolutely,
I don't know.
He's a sadist, everybody. No, but that's great.
I really like Jake. It's like I'm
so.
He's fighting for you, Sirach. He was trying to get you more episodes.
Yeah.
No, I think this was a great episode. I don't know. I think it's a great episode. I think I would add a little bit more to it by just saying, I was thinking that maybe one of my girlfriends and I was going away on a trip, and I lose her, and that would be even seeing more like emotional guilt, because this is somebody you love, you've been around a long time, so you wouldn't even expect that there was this biomagnetic type of thing, except that it, of course, he never piloted a ship until this moment. So that would be one thing that I would think about.
Very cool. Yeah,
losing somebody like that, because it's actually in my case, there's something that's similar to that happened in my life, where on my prom night, all of us went out and we were all, out at the prom. And one of our kids in our school got in a car accident and, killed his prom date and all of that stuff, right on La Cienega. And so it was something we all had to actually deal with in school. And so when you were telling me this episode, I'm like, wow, that is something that I've kind of been really close to and seen on a personal way from my graduating class and from my group of prom goers. So something like that is real for young kids, for children out there. It's something that they do experience.
Wow.
And it would have been a great opportunity to tell that kind of a story.
Yeah.
Especially the timing of it in your life might have been like right around that time too. That would have been really tough. You'd have been like, I don't know if I'm ready to do this episode just yet. That's wow.
Yeah. But you draw on things from your own life, and that's what makes it even better. So it actually, to me, it's a very good episode. I can see why it made so many rounds, because it's like I want to do it, but maybe that one little change may have made the difference. I don't know.
Could have.
You never know those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's true.
Really cool.
You never know.
Really cool.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ethan. This was another great one, and we appreciate you always bringing things to the table, especially so many Jake Sisko and Nog episodes that you wrote. This is great.
Well, and so many episodes that explored different alien physiology and how that affects other aliens in the universe too. That's interesting and to explore.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Ethan, thank you very much for your time and for sharing your thoughts and your scripts with us that were written back in the 90s. We really appreciate it.
Sure thing. I loved every minute of this. This is fun. Great fun.
And everybody at home, if you love this episode, let us know in the comments below. And also go ahead and lock it into your headcanon and say, you know what? I don't care that it wasn't on TV. This thing happened. It just didn't make it to TV. It's possible. They only cover 170 something things that happened. What about all the things that happened that weren't on a television episode? You never know. It could have been there. Anyway, everybody at home, thank you so much for joining us as well. And we'll see you next time. Until then, always remember the 7th rule.